Rossi, how much more of an understanding do you guys have, and how has, I guess, this camp maybe different from last year?
I think as a whole, everybody has a great understanding of the scheme and everything. Like last year, it was a new system. Guys still trying to find their way, around the defense. But from this year and last year, it's a big difference.
You talked about you guys went to the stadium and were doing live hitting. Is that pretty unique to have live hitting on day one of pads?
It's pretty unique, but it's also fun too for the guys that may have not been hitting as much, but having the hit on day one is pretty fun.
We've been hearing a lot about Jordan Hall. Where have you seen him take some steps this offseason compared to last year?
He's taken a great step, on all aspects, whether it's leadership or, just being that voice on the defense, just helping guys, helping the young guys, and in all aspects, whether it be on the field or in the classroom or, just out there being himself.
It feels like you guys brought in some in key positions, a lot of transfers, and some new guys on the defensive side of the ball especially. And I'm curious that leadership element, how important that is just culturally and with the way this team's trying to progress.
I feel like the guys that the new additions that came, they kind of like went along with everything that was going on. We hold a high standard on our defense, not even on defense, but like the team. So I feel like the new additions kind of figured it out when they got here. Just went along with everything.
That's growth from like a team aspect. What kind of personal growth have you experienced over the last year, off season and just coming into the season now?
I feel like I've gotten a better grasp of the defense. I'm able to fly around more than I was last year. Just being in the system for more than a year gives me a better ability to be in places that I wasn't last year.
Do you feel able to help other people along the way too? You got the transfers coming in and all that as well?
Of course. Just the new additions just coming, just helping them, whether they have questions about the playbook, like where they may fit here or whatever. Being able to help them out is also a good thing too.
And can you describe for us as a team the difference between last year at this time and this year in camp?
I feel like we're more in tune with each other, if that makes sense. I feel like we're meshing more than we were last year, and I feel like it'll be a great year this year.
Partly because you're now used to the staff and everything was new last year, or not?
I just feel like we needed to be able to do that as a team. It may not be like the scheme and everything, coaches or whatever. I feel like as players we needed to do that, and I feel like we've done that over the past couple months.
What does that mean as players? Can you expound on what sort of that step just as a player core that needed to be done?
Just being out there, just holding each other accountable, during workouts, practice and stuff, and that also brings everyone together too. So anyone can hold anybody accountable. Just guys willing to listen to that accountability and being able to apply that to what they have going on.
Where do you realize that? Like you come out of last year, like how does that happen? How does that transpire? What are those conversations, and when do you realize that sort of player accountability is something that needed to be in place or was lacking?
Repeat that one more time. I'm sorry.
Can you kind of take me through from last year to now, where that developed and how it developed in terms of realizing that player accountability wasn't there and needed to be more to take that next step?
It was really more of people actually listening to what someone was saying to them and applying that to what they had going on. I feel like we have a lot more of that now. Guys willing to listen, willing to do anything for each other or one another.
It was one of the things we talked with Peyton about last week is that Boston College game really kind of still sticking with him a little bit. I wondered on the defensive side, because there were moments where you had the goal line stop, a couple of forced turnovers, and then that late touchdown. Like, is that something that you guys have talked about in that game in particular? I mean, because that's a difference between a bowl game and not.
Yeah, we really haven't emphasized that a lot this year. We're pretty much just, on to the new year, worried about week one and our opponent for week one.
Who's someone on the defensive side of the ball who's maybe surprised you so far in camp?
So new additions. Our linebacker group is stacked. A lot of guys, a lot of young guys is making a big impact. Brady Preslov, just to name one. He's going to be a guy.
Speaking of your room, most of you guys came back.
you know, or in the second year and everything, do you feel like there's more people pushing to get on the field? There's more guys that are capable at linebacker to contribute right away? But this year in the second year with that experience?
I feel like we have a great room who, no matter who's on the field, they'll have a big impact on the game.
What kind of
Pass rush struggled last year. How much is there like you haven't noticed any design to get you guys more involved as a linebackers in that?
Say that.
With the way the pass rush struggled last year, have you noticed any sort of difference in getting the linebackers more involved in that this season?
I pretty much we're keeping the same thing going. You know, we're just allowing our guys to rush. That's all.
How valuable is it to be a transfer and have a second year rather than just transferring for one? You're coming back for a second year. Is that valuable to build off of what you, maybe last year's a learning process?
It's definitely valuable. Just like earlier we were talking about being in that system for more than a year, getting to know the guys around, because usually when you're a transfer, you're only there for maybe like a year, so you're really just in and out. But being able to be in the same place for more than a year, 2 seasons, is a great thing, because you build those relationships, and those relationships build a team.
What would you have liked personally to have done better last year?
I feel like I needed to play a little bit faster. I feel like I was seeing things a little slow, and I was behind on some plays. So I feel like this year I'm building towards, seeing and reacting to plays, so I can get there faster than I did last year.
Last year you had to roll on third down a lot. Were you happy with your pass defense for the most part last year?
For the most part, I was happy with that. But there's always room for improvement, and I feel like this year we're taking a step up as far as improvement.
Sort of zooming out, what kind of defense do you guys want to be this year? Like, what are the key areas that you identify?
We're going to be fast, tough, and physical. We're going to be fast, tough, and physical.
Coach Ross was out here talking about how the receivers have sort of stood out to him. I'm wondering for you, anybody on offense or a group that's caught your eye, like giving you guys problems or anything like that?
Not so much as giving guys problems, but we do have some dynamic receivers that can run and catch the ball. So I'm pretty excited to see how they are this season.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Appreciate it.